Hey everybody, Poppy Jennison here. I'm very excited tonight to be here with Marie Sexton, the author of The Promises, which is the first book in the Coda series. It's one of my all-time favorite books and all-time favorite series, so I cannot wait to hear what you guys think about it and get a chance to talk to Marie about it. So before we get started, I'm going to pull a fast one on Marie here, because I'm going to share something with you and her that I have never told her before. We've known each other since 2011, I think. We met in New Orleans at the very first Lit, and I had read Promises, so I had this idea of Marie Sexton after reading Promises, that there was going to be hiking boots and jeans and this nature granola type. I don't know. I was expecting you to ride mountain bikes, and then I met you. And
I don't ride bikes.
I met your shoe collection, and I have been in awe of you and your shoes ever since. So my first question to you is there hiking boots in the shoe collection, or is that just sort of the reader fantasy on my part?
Yeah, we used to hike a lot more. My husband and I were a lot more outdoorsy back before we had our daughter. Having a kid just makes everything different, But my husband actually was the mountain biker. He's a physicist. He's kind of, proud that like Jared's sort of based on him. He also knows that Matt is my dream man. So, he's good with that. But no, these days I have to admit there's not much hiking that happens.
Well, that's just funny. Well, I tell you, it was just really funny. I did sneak you guys, and I asked Marie to grab the shoes that really made me like admire her as a woman. And before we got started, I had asked her to grab them. So let's see them, Marie. Let's see the infamous ones. These are Marie's boots. That I tell you what, the first time I saw this woman wearing those boots, I wanted to just worship at her feet, literally. And to be funny, but in a way, you're really known for your shoe collection. Am I right?
It's kind of become that way, yes. And my life has been threatened over these boots on more than one occasion, I have to tell you. It kind of started, I bought a pair of more like pirate boots for RWA, the one RWA I went to, which might have also been 2011. And it just was such an easy conversation piece. And I love shoes. So it gave me a nice excuse to expand my shoe collection. So, and that's the only time I get to wear them is at conventions. I don't wear them to my daughter's soccer games, of course. So it's nice to have a reason to put on my pretty shoes.
And you always have good shoes. I remember when we were where were we? You have like a pair of Queen of Hearts heels.
I have Queen of Hearts. I brought Queen of Hearts in because
those are the ones that, isn't there a picture online of like Rick Reed kneeling down and kissing your feet wearing those shoes?
He was taking a picture of the shoes because his husband, I believe, is the shoe buyer for Nordstrom's or someplace like that. So all week he was taking pictures of my shoes, and it just happened that when he was taking a picture of these, he's on the floor of the hotel, and the lady from USA Today took a picture of him taking a picture of my shoes. And then we were joking that we were in USA Today, but all you can see is the back of his head and my feet. And so not the way we had planned on debuting in USA Today, but it was okay.
Well, he's kneeling at your feet, and it looked like he's like kissing your shoes, which, when I saw it,
no, he didn't kiss them, I swear. He was just taking pictures.
He's probably going to yell at me when he sees this. So I'll warn him in advance. We were talking about him kissing your feet. But so shoe collection and Marie, this is how, if you guys have never been to a convention and seen Marie in action, it really is all about the shoes with her, and they are definitely conversation pieces. So excuse me, I just really wanted to share that story because it was funny when I met you, that it was just, you were so different from what I had expected. It was just, because sometimes, and I don't know if you do this, but I get to reading and you get an idea of what the author might be like based on the characters and, things. Do you do that as well?
Right. Yes, definitely.
And of course, now we know that can be wrong. So
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about promises, because this book has sort of become. I know that you'll probably make a face at me, but this book has sort of become legendary in our genre. It is a go-to book for a lot of people. It's consistently a best read. It was recently named one of the top 100 romances of all time by Goodreads. And I recently saw on a list of best sex scenes ever, and this scene from Promises was on that list. And
Really?
so, yeah, it was funny. I mean, because you're looking at this list and you're looking at some of the other names on this list, and what do you have any thoughts on that? When you were writing Promises, did you have any idea?
Oh God, no, I had no clue. I mean, I had no clue about anything. I didn't really know that much about even that the genre existed. I mean, I had a few books on my bookshelf that I had read and enjoyed, but I didn't know about Goodreads or Jessie Wave or any of the online communities I mean, I didn't really know anything about it. I had quit my day job, and a few months in, kind of just had this idea, and I started writing. And I think a lot of people have heard the story about how I tried to hide it from my husband at first because I felt like such a fraud. And he finally confronted me because he thought I was having an affair because I was being so secretive around the computer. And I said, no, I'm just writing a book. But no, I really had no idea it would do as well as it did. Not complaining. That's good. Yay.
Well, I think what it is, and for me, is that you captured something that is universal in the way that the best romances of all time have to be. It truly is universal, and Jared and Matt are characters that you just you fall in love with them as they fall in love with each other. So can you tell me a little bit about where they came from? I mean, did they pop fully formed into your head? I mean, you said Matt is your dream guy, and Jared is loosely based on your husband. So where did they come from?
I don't really know. It actually started with a dream. I kind of woke up with them in my head, the scene where they're kind of fighting in the hallway, and it turns into a blowjob, although initially it was just a hand job. But and I just started from there. And then I did flounder around a lot trying to figure out, I knew they were in Colorado, but, for a while there was a dude ranch involved. For a while there was actually going to be a werewolf, which I'd forgotten until recently when I went back and found some of my old notes that there was a werewolf in Promises initially, like as the antagonist, which seems crazy to me now. But
that's like the best trivia I have ever gotten in my life. I'm going to use that at some point in the future, a werewolf in Promises. Yeah, that's amazing. So,
but yeah, from there, I don't know. I don't know how it happened. I just started with that scene in the hallway.
Well, we talked recently in our Dreamweavers discussion, and I'll link that for you guys down below if you missed that. We met with all of the authors of the Tale of the Curious Cookbook, which Marie wrote a story for. And Marie shared some an interesting little bit of trivia about her writing, that she usually starts in the middle and then works her way forwards and backwards from there. And I thought that was, really interesting. So for me, the scene with Jared and Matt in the hallway is the power of the emotion in that scene. I mean, I don't know how you do it. You do this in all of your books, but in this particular scene, it's written in first person from Jared's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And yet you feel Matt's anxiety like you're him. I mean, you feel that he is terrified, turned on as all get out, but he's terrified too. And you managed to really capture that in that scene. So it's interesting to me that was where it started, with that scene, because it is so powerful. So.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you think so.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about, I have a question for you. And maybe this is because I'm not, from Colorado. I don't know. You mentioned this hobby. I don't even know what it is. Geocaching?
Geocaching? Yeah,
What is geocaching? I have no idea what geocaching is.
I don't even know if geocaching is as popular now as it was then, because I wrote that book in 2009. And, you know, that was before everybody really had smartphones, which somebody asked me recently, well, why didn't Matt just have his cell phone? And I was like, people weren't using smartphones as much in 2009 when I wrote it. But, you know, you would buy the little handheld GPS and people would plant little boxes of little prizes and goodies in hidden locations, sometimes in the mountains or sometimes in cities. It could be anywhere. And then you would have to go out and try to find a way to get to this point. Mostly just using topographical maps and the little very unreliable GPS things that you could get back then. And then when you find it, there's usually like a log that you can put your name, and you can take one of the little items from the box, and then you can leave an item if you want. So it's just like a little treasure hunt. It's like a grown-up treasure hunt.
Sounds like fun, actually. Now, I don't think I would be hiking in the Colorado mountains of Colorado. But probably not so much because, you know, I wear heels as well. So I'm just going to throw that out. But I just had to ask because I have wondered that since the first time I read Promises, and I have never asked you. So I wanted to take the opportunity to ask you now. So,
okay.
I want to ask you about one of the villains in the piece, sort of. Sherry. Let's talk about Sherry for a second.
Okay.
Or is it Cherie? Because Sherry. It is Sherry. Okay.
It's Sherry. In my head, it's Sherry.
Okay, good. I've seen that name said both ways, so I thought I'd check. She's sort of an interesting character that you love to hate. So, I don't know. Like, part of me really hates her, but part of me gets it. Like, she's almost, well, she's not innocent in any way, shape, or form. But I don't know. I just want to, okay, just tell me about Sherry. I
don't really know. I mean, I felt like, you know, hopefully she feels like sort of a real person, you know, small town. She's just a waitress. There's a new hot guy. You know, why not? And, but I don't know. I mean, mostly I just really needed that counterweight to Jared in Matt's life. I needed for him to have that normal relationship that he would keep trying to fall back on and not finding it being what he needed. So I don't know if it was so much even about Sherry for me. It's just about having that balance for Matt.
Right.
That makes sense.
Well, I tell you, this is one of my all-time favorite books. Now I'm going to tell our audience here, I've been having a little bit of technical difficulty on my end tonight, but so I'm not seeing any of your comments come through. I'm going to attempt to hit refresh again, but last time I did this, my computer froze, but hopefully it will not this time. Everything's looking well. No, it's not looking better. I'm just checking my connection, and it is not. So, but feel free, you guys, to leave comments, and I will be checking them as much as I can here and trying to get this to work. So if you have any questions about Promises, you know, feel free to leave them and we'll chat. So Marie has actually very generously offered to give us a few prizes here. So we will be leaving, you can get comments down below on the Google page or on our YouTube channel. We'll be doing one giveaway on the YouTube channel as well. So first giveaway, you want to show off there?
I have these bracelets. I don't know if you can see them. There's one for each of the 3 main Coda books. So Rub Some Dirt on It, Angelo Says What the Fuck Ever, and then one for Strawberries.
Oh, love it. So leave a comment down below here on the Google page with the word bracelet if you would like to win a set of the bracelets that Marie is going to give away. So she's also going to be doing a paperback giveaway of Promises, and we'll go ahead and do that because I babbled so long. I sort of took a lot of Marie's time that I had promised her I wouldn't, but I can't help it. I babbled.
No worries.
Yeah, we talk a lot, so it's a thing. So we'll do the paperback of Promises as well. So leave a comment with a promise that you would make to Marie about promises. Just have a little fun with it and leave promises. So I'm starting to get comments come through now, Marie. So thank goodness it is working. Yay. Nama would like to know what made you choose to write in Jared's point of view.
I don't know. I think because Matt was the one that I was in love with, and so it made sense for me to show Jared falling for Matt, because I don't know. I don't know if that's a very good answer, but I do prefer to keep things to one point of view when I can. I can't always do it, but that is always my preference. And so it never really even crossed my mind to use Matt's point of view for that story.
Yeah. Allison has left us a comment as well. She would like to know, can we look forward to seeing Matt and Jared in the future?
I don't think Matt and Jared will ever have another story that they are the main characters in. However, you do see Matt and Jared in Shotgun, which comes out on May 29th. They are in that book. Yes, and Zach and Angelo also.
I can't wait. So if you do not know, the final book in the Coda series is called Shotgun, and it will be out May 29th from Dreamspinner Press. I'm so excited. It's actually available for pre-order now, so I highly encourage you to go in and get it pre-ordered. I have already pre-ordered it myself, actually, so I'm pretty excited about this. I love this world, and I think Coda is a magical place that, I don't know where you came up with it, but honestly, it's a special book for myself, and it's a special book for a lot of readers. So from us to you, I say thank you, my friend, because you really created something that's very special, and that,
Well, thank you. That's nice to hear.
So I'm having a fangirl moment. I mean, like I said earlier, I've known Marie since 2011, and I fangirl every year. Every time I see you, I have a fangirl moment. It's a thing I do. So, okay, well, I'm going to let you go. We do have another giveaway that we're going to do at the end of the chat right before I announce our next book. So I'm going to hold on to that one. But be sure to leave comments, and I'll get your name. Hold on. Got one more that just came through here. Just a second. Can't read it. Let's see. Yeah, Nama is responding to you hope that it was a good answer to her question about Jared's point of view. And she said it was a very good answer. She was wondering because there were more than one point of view in later books. So.
Oh, yeah. It always depends on the story. I always want to do one point of view, but sometimes I fail.
Well, sometimes you have characters that they really demand it. So, I mean, that's and true. I think that one part of the power of Promises was Jared's hope and fear and confusion and love, and I think that it would have muddied that a little bit if we had gone back and forth between Jared and Matt. So, for my two kids, for what it's worth.
That sounds good to me.
All right, my friend. Well, I will let you go, and I will see you in a few months out in San Diego. Marie is attending Gay Rom Lit this year, guys. So if you have not had a chance to meet Marie yet, we'll be in San Diego in October. So, and we will talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your evening. All right.
Bye.
Okay, so you guys, I tell you, Marie Sexton, am I right? And I really have. I've known Marie for several years, but it just never, I think the power of Promises goes just beyond, I mean, it's one of the first books that I ever read in this genre, and it's just so powerful and such an amazing book. So let's talk about it. I've got some questions for you guys. I'm going to pull my questions around here. I had some notes that I had made for Marie. So, okay, so I don't normally go this direction first, but I'm going to this time because I think that this book did something that it affected me in ways that a lot of books don't affect me. And boy, that was a bad lead-in for this, and you guys are all going to be laughing at me when I answer this question. But let's talk about the sex scenes. Oh, I'm going to turn red here and start blushing, but that's okay. But the thing that I think got to me about the characters in this book is that because Matt is so confused and he's in the closet. I mean, there's no really other way to put it. He's in the closet, firmly in the closet, has no intentions of ever coming out of the closet. And then, and my light just blew. So sorry about that. Okay, so he doesn't have any intention of ever coming out. But that first kiss and that first moment, and we get these little moments where he's touching Jared's hair and things. But the scene that Marie was talking about a few minutes ago when they are in the hallway, I just, there was something so incredibly powerful about that scene. So anybody with me? Anybody have any thoughts on that? Please leave some comments for me on that. I would love to hear your thoughts. The line, I actually went and hunted this line down to make sure I said it correctly because it stuck with me. There's a line in that scene where he says, "I just want to touch you a little more." And it's that, can I make that baby step further, and that not wanting to let go. Just right in the heart. I mean, it just got me so right in the heart. So, all right. So leave your comments down below. We'll come back to that once the comments start coming through. Probably going to be a little bit slow tonight, guys. I'm having a lot of trouble with my internet connection, and I'm not really sure what's going on. So hopefully everything is working well for you guys, that you guys can see and hear me. Yes, Nama, her books are amazing, and Promises is, there's not a more perfect book out there. I absolutely just adore it. I've read it so many times. It's pretty impressive. So I wanted to throw out there another interesting dynamic is the interesting thing between the two families. So we've got Jared's family on the one hand. We've got his brother Brian, his sister-in-law Lizzie, and we see his mom, very supportive. They live in a small town. Jared has grown up in a small town, works at the family business with his brother and sister-in-law, and very much a unit, a real family unit, But on the other hand, you've got Matt, who his dad is an alcoholic, abusive, his mom she's the wife of an alcoholic who's abusive, she's got her own set of issues. And so I've always been really interested on how someone from Matt's family dynamic, where you've got a lot of dysfunction, becoming partners with someone who is from a really solid, family life. I think that it's a really interesting dynamic, and I often wonder, is that something that that draws people together? If especially from Matt's point of view, he doesn't have that sort of family, that he can be as close with. So I wonder if part of the draw for Jared is because of his family, and Brian and Lizzie just sort of like swoop him right in and right into the fold. So I think for me that's a really interesting dynamic in Promises, is because you get to see Matt sort of understanding really just how bad his family is once because once you see how it can be, you realize that there's more wrong than you might want to admit going on at home. So any thoughts on that, guys? So I'm really sorry. I know the comments seem to be, I'm getting them several minutes after the fact. I really wish there was something else I could do here, but I've already rebooted and reconnected my internet. I have no idea why it's running so slow tonight. So I apologize if you guys are leaving things and it's taken me a while to get to them. So, okay, so we're talking about family. I wanted to talk for a minute about Lizzie. Lizzie, who is Jared's sister-in-law. What a fun character. She really is such a sister character to Jared. And what's really funny to me about her is that for the longest time, I had it confused in my head. It had been a while since I'd reread it. And it somehow got into my head that Lizzie was actually Jared's sister and that Brian was the brother-in-law. That's not the case. Brian is Jared's brother, and there's several scenes where when they're younger that they're a little bit of not so much a flashback, but just sort of a retelling of some of the things, like when Brian realizes that Jared is gay because he comments on the football poster, and his brother asks him, who's the hottest person, and he answers with one of the football players instead of one of the cheerleaders. And so there's some really good moments in there like that with Brian. But Lizzie is, she's just a force of nature, isn't she? She's so much fun, and I love how she gives Jared such a hard time. I mean, just like a sister. The banter between Jared and Lizzie reminds me a lot of actually the banter between my brother and I. I have a younger brother who's 3 years younger than I am. And all through, once we hit, I don't know, once we got like out of the high school sort of range, once I was in college and he was a little older, and we went from being that pesky younger brother to, or whatever. Our banter is a lot like that. I mean, people have heard us going back and forth, and my brother will say things to me like, whoa, what did you do to your hair? And I'll be like, ooh, that shirt, not so much today, and we're able to kind of give each other give each other heck a little bit and kind of go back and forth. So I really enjoyed the character of Lizzie and wanted to see if you guys had enjoyed her as much. And then, of course, then Jared becomes an uncle for the first time. So, Jared and Lizzie have a child in this book and promises. So it's pretty spectacular. So pretty good stuff. So any thoughts on any of that, guys? I'm not seeing anything coming through. So I'm wondering if it's just not going to let me see comments. I mean, y'all know I can talk, so I'll just keep babbling until I see more coming through. I don't mind doing that. But if you are leaving comments, I'm sorry I'm not getting them. So if someone wants to try to leave me a quick test one, you can just say test or something real quick for me, just so I can see how long it's taken for the comments to come through. I'd really appreciate it, because it's sort of, I don't want to just be talking to myself if you guys are having trouble hearing anything. So, okay, so let's talk a little bit about Coda itself, because I think that in this entire series, not just in Promises, but in the entire Coda series, Coda is, the city is a character in and of itself. I mean, we hear that often in books that location becomes sort of another character. And it's actually one of my favorite things to do as a writer myself. I love for the location to have a lot of personality as well. And I think that that's one of the reasons why I connected so much. I'm just starting to see comments come through. So they're popping up here really quickly. So thank you. So Coda is such a character. It's very much a small town. We get a lot of the hate that one would expect in small towns, although I will say that I think some of that, has tended to ease up, at least from my perspective. I've lived in small towns my entire life, so I know that the world is changing. But I think that, what Marie has managed to capture is that small town where it may take some time to change, and sometimes it takes something being right in your face before you realize, we need to make a change. I think that it's one of those things that Coda grows over the course of this series, and I think that I can't wait to read Shotgun to see just how much Coda has changed since, like Marie said, the first book was written in 2009, which doesn't seem like that long ago, but as we all know, the world has changed quite a bit in the past 6 years. So I'll be really interested to see how Coda has changed over the course of that time. So I'm going to check some comments here. I've got Nama. I nearly choked with that scene. Matt was just so sad. It was heartbreaking. Hold on. Let me move my screen here again. For some reason, it keeps resizing. I was just cheering him along constantly, but at the same time, I love Matt, but it was hell for Jared. Yes, it was hell for Jared. And the funny thing is, Jared knew. I mean, you could tell going in, he didn't know if he could touch. He didn't know. I mean, he didn't try to touch himself, certainly. He knew that would be crossing a line. How difficult that must be. I mean, he's out. People know he's out. He has suffered for being out. I mean, the town, he says at one point he can't go get his hair cut. His sister-in-law gives him lots of heck about his hair. He's got curly hair. It's too long. He needs a haircut, and he's always fussing with his hair. But he can't go to the barber shop because the men in there wouldn't want anything to do with him. And he can't go to the beauty shop that's in town, because everybody there just, they want to treat and they want to just sit and gossip and talk about boys, and that's not what it's about, And so I think that, it is an interesting sort of take on how things work. So I'll be really interested to see. Do you guys think so too? Are you guys fans of Coda as a place? I mean, it's one of those places where you just want to go and visit. Although, as I was rereading this book, I kind of laughed at the scene. There's a scene early on at the very beginning of this book where, Jared makes a comment like, why would you want to come here? And he's talking about it. It's like, well, we're too far away from this. We're not really a tourist place. Well, some people stop by or they get lost and they find us, but they're usually on their way somewhere else. It's not really like the place that you go to visit, except that having read the Coda books, now I want to go and visit, right? I mean, I'm sure you guys might feel the same way. Let's see. Allison, Promises is a very romantic story that you can't help but reread. It is. It's one of my go-to books. I mean, I probably have reread it 5 or 6 times, which for me is a lot. I generally don't reread something more than 2 or 3 times at the max. There's been a few exceptions to that rule, and this book is definitely one of them. It's absolutely amazing. Nama says, in general, I really love how the women are written. I think that a lot of times, because it's a gay romance, women are rather shallow characters, but in Marie's books, they're so real. She really does. She does an amazing job with all of her characters, making them very real. And I wish I could bottle that magic that she has, and that ability to do that, because it really is spectacular. She's, all of her characters are the women characters in particular. I mean, we have Jared's mom, whose name is escaping me. Oh, hate it when that happens. But we have Jared's mom, we've got Lizzie, we've even got Sherry. We were talking about her earlier. When you have these characters that are very real, and part of me really does feel bad for Sherry. She's made a bad choice in husband, and now she's, got all the problems. She's trying to get something going with Matt, but clearly that's not going to work. But how does she know that? I mean, how is she supposed to know that that's not going to work? There's no way for her to know that. So it's really, we need to give Marie a big hat tip for that, because she has this way of creating these characters that you want to be around them. I want to hang around and watch football with Matt and Jared, although I'd probably get on their nerves because I'd be the one talking through the football game. I mean, come on, let's be honest. I'd be the one sitting there talking. But yeah, so it's an amazing thing that she does with the characters. So, okay. Anybody else have anything they want to talk about? You guys feel free to throw me some questions out here. I do not mind at all. I'd love to talk about what you guys want to talk about as well. So I have one more thing that I wanted to throw out at you guys while I'm kind of waiting for the comments to catch up a little bit here. I think that the scenes with the kids that that Jared is tutoring are a really powerful subplot of this book. Jared he's afraid when Ringo first approaches him to tutor him. And you can see that it's like, oh, this is not, no, I'm not going to be able. He's a physicist with a teaching degree. He is able to be a teacher, but he can't teach because there's no way that they would accept a gay teacher in Coda, which I just, and you get it, right? I mean, we've all heard of this. We've all seen these things and heard these stories. We know it happens. But when he starts tutoring Ringo, you start to see a little bit of a change come over him. And I think it was really masterfully done. And, we fast forward a little bit, and now, Ringo brings his girlfriend. All right, now he's tutoring too. And then Ringo's girlfriend brings her friend, and then her friend brings her boyfriend. And then this one, and it really just expanded. And at one point, I think they say that he had like 10 or 11 kids at one time, and he's tutoring in physics and math and different things. But then some of the parents start to squawk. And I think, it's one of those things that is not really spoken. But I think Marie nailed it in such a powerful way. At one point, Jared says to Ringo, just because I'm gay doesn't mean I'm a pedophile. I'm not attracted to every single person. I'm not attracted to kids. just because I'm gay, that's not what it means, you know. And I think it's a really powerful message, because I think that still to this day, there are people out there who think that just because you're gay, you have all these other proclivities, which is just, it's ridiculous, and we know it. But there are people out there who feel that way. So I really appreciated the way that Marie handled that in the book, that not only was Jared conscious of it, and he avoided putting himself in situations, but where there would be any question of any sort of that type of behavior. But when Matt and the other jerk cop, you know which one I'm talking about, they show up and they're questioning him, and they want to know what he's doing with these kids, and is there anybody in the bedroom? I mean, Jared's anger is so real and so true that I just, I can't help it. So I'm sorry, guys, I'm getting messages here. I was waiting to see if somebody was messaging me telling me that this wasn't working. So I'm sorry about that. I just wanted to be sure. So yeah, I think that those scenes and the outcome of that entire process was really powerful, because he was able to do what he was meant to do, which was teach. And I think that, as the book progresses and that's, the outcome that we get, it's just really powerful. So very happy about that. So, okay. I've got a comment from Allison, and Jules, hi. Jules just got in. She missed everything, she says. I'm still here. Hey, Jules. Okay, so Matt's father, this is from Allison. Matt's father was a really hateful character. Lucy was a really weak character living in his shadow. But I guess she showed some spunk finally towards the end of the book. Yes, she did, Allison. And again, I think that's it says something about Marie's ability to write true characters, because, when Lucy finally had enough, she was done. And she did what she needed to do to get out and to get help. And I think that's a really powerful message that's part of Promises. And I think that it's one of those things that you really can't belittle, is the fact that the subplots in this book and the supporting characters of this book make the magic happen. They are the most powerful, supporting characters. I mean, they're just really amazing. Even the ones that you don't like as much. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those moments where you really want to, you just want to hang out with him, and you want to have dinner with him. You want to come over and hang out with Lizzie and have everybody just show up and barbecue in the backyard with the family, So hopefully you guys felt that way too, because I think it's pretty universal. So I wanted to touch on something that I mentioned earlier, and I just think it's really special. So I wanted to take a moment to mention it again, that this book was named one of the best top 100 romances of all time. So, and this isn't just the gay romance genre. This is all romance books. Promises was voted one of the top 100 romance books of all time. And I think that speaks to the incredible power of this book and I think what it brings. And I'm just really tickled that Marie was able to join us here and talk to us a little bit about it. And I thought it was important to mention that again. I guess she's just such an amazing lady and has something really special with this book. So can't wait to read Shotgun, May 29th. So, okay. So since everything is going so slow, I'm really sorry if I've missed anything that you guys have said, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up so that, wherever you guys can, if you guys can hear me and I'm not answering, I'm not getting comments. And I don't know. Google apparently hates me tonight, or my internet. It very well could be Comcast. Comcast might hate me tonight. It could be a thing. So, but before I announce what our next book is going to be, I want to mention again the giveaways that we're doing. I think because of the nature of what's going on tonight, I'm not seeing some stuff. So what I'm going to do is instead of doing the giveaways here on the Google channel, I'm going to do them on our YouTube channel. So I mentioned earlier, but forget what I said earlier. We're going to do 3 giveaways on the YouTube channel for this week. We are going to give away a set of bracelets that represent the Coda series that Marie mentioned. So this video will be live later this evening on YouTube. We'll be sure to share it on Dream Spinner's social channels. If you would like to enter when you see that shared, go ahead or we'll do some, I'll figure something out. I'll do a special post that we can do a giveaway, but leave a comment on the YouTube video. We'll be sharing the links to it. If you'd like to win the set of bracelets, just leave the word bracelet in the comment box of the video on YouTube, and we'll choose a winner here in the next few days. Marie has also donated an autographed paperback of Promises for one of you guys to win. So if you'd like to win the paperback, just leave paperback in the comments here on the YouTube channel, and we'll pick a winner. We'll give it a week, okay? I'll draw winners next Monday. And the third giveaway that we're going to do, guys, this is really cool. Marie has, we are going to give away a copy of Shotgun. We're going to do an ebook version of Shotgun so that I know you guys are probably like me. You're going to be reading it the moment it comes out. So we'll be putting an ebook copy on somebody's shelf so it will magically appear for you on the release day, which is May 29th. So that being said, that's how you're going to enter. Put Shotgun in the comment for if you'd like to win the ebook. So over on the YouTube channel, go. I did get a couple comments that show up here, so let me see if I can answer to these really quick. Allison says, I love the scene where Matt shows up and Cole was there. I like that Matt showed his jealousy. I got to move this. It was this point where he dislikes Cole for the rest of the series. Absolutely. And you know that's why. And you know that when Cole snuggles into Matt's neck and into Jared's neck, and he's being very obvious about it, he does it so that he can tick Matt off. And Matt never forgives him. He will never forgive that man for touching Jared in front of him. And you know that he will never be able to get over it. So I did like that part too. And Joel says Matt's dad is the worst. Absolutely. He really is. And then Nama says there's also an interesting subplot of fighting your fears. First Matt and then Jared. They need to face their fears and go on. Absolutely. So, okay, guys. So I'm going to stop the comments from there because we're starting to run out of time. I also want to do a quick announcement here. If you guys are watching, I'm actually getting ready tomorrow morning at stupid o'clock. I'll be leaving for the RT convention in Dallas, Texas. So we'll be doing lots of fun stuff on Dream Spinners social media pages over on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Be sure you stop by and check some of the stuff out that we're going to be doing this week while we're at RT. It's going to be pretty amazing. It's a ginormous convention, and I can't wait to report to you guys from RT. So I will be seeing you guys live from RT over the next week. I'll be shooting in and doing some fun stuff so you guys can see what's going on. Okay, I'm going to stop now. Are you guys finally ready to hear? Now, this next book changed my life. Not going to lie. Now, you guys know I tend to gush about a lot of these books, and I can't help it. But this one, honestly, this book has a special place, and here's why. Yeah, I knew I wanted to be a writer in this genre after I read this book. Anybody want to take a guess what it is? You guys probably can't guess fast enough, so I'm just going to tell you. The next Dream Readers book, drum roll, is Change of Heart by Marie Sexton. I cannot wait to talk about this book with you guys. It is the book that made me want to write, want to tell stories, and it's spectacular. I really just can't gush enough. The final book in the Change of Heart series will be coming out in here. I don't know the actual date on it, but it's coming out soon. It's called Forging the Future, and I'm really excited about it. I got to have a sneak peek at the cover art for it. It's going to blow you guys' mind. I can't wait. Yes, Jules, it really did change my life. I got up the courage to submit my very first book to Dream Spinner after I read Change of Heart. So it is a book that holds an extremely special place in my heart, and I would not be sitting here with you today if I had not read this book. So yeah, it's pretty powerful, and I would say it definitely has changed my life. So of course, Mary's going to fuss at me for saying that, but it's okay. She's allowed, right? Okay, so next month, same time, same channel. We'll be here on Google Plus first. I'll go ahead and get an event set up here shortly so you guys can join the event. Make sure that you can join us next time. Mary will be joining us for the first 10 to 15 minutes as we normally do. And you guys get your questions ready because I know you guys are going to have a ton of questions for Mary. I think it's kind of fun. So we will be talking about change of heart. Mary Calme, cannot wait to talk to you guys about it. So, all right. So don't forget to leave your comments on the YouTube channel if you'd like to win. We've got 3 giveaways that we're doing, just to remind you: bracelet, ebook, and paperback. So if you leave those comments on the YouTube channel, we'll be sharing this link, the YouTube link, once it goes live. It takes a little bit to upload to YouTube. It does transfer pretty quickly, though, so it'll be up, and we'll be sure to share that with you. So thank you guys so much for stopping by, talking about promises with me tonight. I really like doing this, and I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. I think it's a lot of fun to get to fangirl some of my favorite books and favorite authors, and it's nice to be able to share that with you guys. So you guys have a fantastic evening, and I will be sending you lots of good stuff from RT this week, and we'll see you next month. Bye, everybody.